All right, here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for the 5th day of June, 2024. Flyers Daily, as always, presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. We have got a plethora of topics to discuss in this episode, and we will also feature the Flyers exit day interview from what I have deemed, I say this to Cam York as well, as the biggest individual player storyline of the season for the Flyers, Cam York's development. We're going to hear from Cam York, and we'll go through the particulars on his season in just a moment. Before we get there, a couple things real quick. First and foremost, I got to send out congratulations to the Flyers in-house content team. They won 3 awards lately. They're called Tellys. They won the Gold Telly for the 45th Annual Telly Awards. And this is for any kind of content, whether it's social media, web videos, TV, anything. TikTok, for goodness sake. And they have all different kinds of categories. And the Flyers in-house media team won the gold winner for the sports-branded content for the standard Inside Flyers training camp. The gold winner for sports social video, which was Liftoff, embarking on a new era of Flyers hockey. And they were also gold winners in the sports promotional video for a new era of orange, the Flyers uniform unveil. And I will just tell you that the in-house production department has upped their game over the last couple of years to an unbelievable level. You guys watch the videos when they come out in training camp, or the behind-the-scenes stuff around the draft, whatever it is. These are incredibly well-produced. They look great. They sound great. They transition beautifully. So congrats to everyone on that side that does great work. I've been featured in a few of them. Certainly my audio's been in a bunch of them as well, and I can't say enough about how great those videos are that team does, the in-house content team. And massive congratulations to all of them. And I look forward to prospect camp, around the draft, seeing more. And then obviously when training camp begins and rookie camp and everything that goes along with another season. Congrats to the Flyers in-house content team. Awesome stuff. Great stuff to see here in the month of June. Now, coming up today at 10:30, Flyers chairman, CEO of Comcast Spectacor, Dan Hilferty, along with the Flyers president of hockey operations, Keith Jones, are going to meet with the media at the Flyers training facility coming up at 10:30, like I said this morning. They'll be talking about the first year of the new era of orange to conclude the 23-24 season. Hockey calendar is almost over. I'll explain that in just a second. And to look ahead to both the hockey and business for the future of the Flyers organization as well. And they'll take questions from the media, obviously, as part of that. The hockey calendar goes from July 1st to June 30th. So the 23-24 season from an NHL perspective will end on the final day of this month, coming up in not just 25 days. So Keith Jones, Dan Hilferty, I believe they'll be both sitting down individually with yours truly, which is great news because we will be able to feature those conversations right here on Flyers Daily. So look forward to that coming up. If you've missed any of the Flyers Exit Day player interview series, really great conversations. I don't like to call them interviews. When I have a sit down with players or John Tortorella or whoever, I don't like it to be called an interview. To me, it's more of a conversation. We're just talking about hockey and some of the things players go through on and off the ice, and it's just a conversation. An interview is kind of pointed question answer. That I don't like to do interviews. I like to have conversations. But if you've missed any of them, you can go back in the queue here on YouTube or on whatever podcast app you get your content on. We had Joel Farabee going back to the 1st of May, Ryan Poehling, Sean Couturier, Yegor Zamula, Morgan Frost, Scott Lawton, Travis Konechny, Garnet Hathaway. Last week we had Sam Ersson and Owen Tippett. Coming up today we have Cam York, and coming up on Friday we'll have Nick Seeler, still Travis Sanheim, Jamie Drysdale to come, Tyson Forster, Bobby Brink, and Noah Cates as well. So still have some good conversations that we're going to feature over the next couple of weeks here leading up to the draft. And then we'll have Flyers prospect camp, and we'll be talking to a lot of the prospects and those kind of things in the middle of summer as we count down the days to another season. But when we talk about our Flyers Exit Day interview series, well, the subject today is Cam York. I was just so impressed with the season that Cam York had. I thought he was excellent this season. He, to me, was a player that I had expectations of Cam York. I expected him to be, a good NHL player that would contribute offensively. But I never thought that he would be able to defend to the level that he defended this year. He played all 82 games, and he played a ton of minutes. He was asked to do a lot. And Cam York's only 23 years of age, played 82 games, had 10 goals, 20 assists for 30 points. He will be got 24 coming up on January 5th, so he's about halfway through his 23-year-old year. He was taken in the first round, 14th overall back in the 2019 draft. Of course, the Flyers passed on Cole Caulfield not once but twice, but they took Cam York. And the year that he had, just tremendous. When you look at what he was asked to do is one of the most difficult jobs in hockey. That's be a top pairing defenseman. We know, you can just look at the schedule. You face Colorado, you're getting Nathan McKinnon and Rantanen. You face the Rangers, you're getting Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider. You're getting the toughest matchups game in, game out. Pasternak if you got the Bruins. Kucherov if you got the Lightning. You just get the top line, the best the league has to offer, that you have to mitigate the damage that they can do. And that is not an easy thing. Now, when you look at his season, some of the advanced analytics on his season, York played first pairing minutes all year. And he did it right there with the NHL elite defensemen. Now, among 70 defensemen this year who had 18 or more minutes of ice time at just even strength, average per game, York ranked 17th in the NHL in expected goals allowed per 60 at 2.63. His chance suppression was amazing this past season. That is a huge element of how he has developed as a player. And, he played 25 minutes and 5 seconds of average ice time this past season over his last 22 games. You look at the last half of his season, the last 41 games. So break the season right down the middle. Cam York averaged 22 minutes and 46 seconds of ice time, 16 points in those 41 games, and was an all-situations player. Played some power play. We don't talk about power play a lot. It wasn't good. We talk about penalty kill, his ability to defend off the rush. It was just a really, really good year. I went back and looked, as a matter of fact, at some draft profiles of Cam York. I found this one on Broad Street Hockey that our friend Johan Gardner wrote. And this was before the Flyers drafted him. It was on June 19th of 2019, so in advance of the draft. And he's talking about the elements of York's game to like. And Johan says that he's a very good player all over the ice, exceptional hockey smarts. He lacks elite speed. You'd like to have in a smallerish defenseman, but he's still a great skater with good mobility and edge work. And I thought that was the big thing. He also went on to say good gap control, great balance. We saw that this year. To defend players and the best players in the league off the rush, you cannot bite, you cannot lean. They will make you look foolish. And I thought that's where Cam York really, really excelled this year. So let's get to our Flyers Exit Day interview series conversation with Flyers defenseman Cam York. It is Flyers Daily at Flyers Exit Day, and we're with Flyers defenseman Cam York. Cam, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I told you that I was going to say something in this conversation that may embarrass you, and I don't care. I'm saying it. Okay. I think the single biggest player story this season is your development. I think you had an incredible year. I thought you were going to be a good player that could have good offensive elements to his game. I didn't think you could defend like this. I'll say it right now. I was wrong. The way you defend in this league. How do you feel about your season?
I feel good. I mean, I felt
I
like
didn't think you were going to be a bad defender. I just didn't think you'd be this good of a defender.
I feel like for me it was good. It starts in the off season. I think I put in a lot of work in the gym and trying to get bigger and stronger, and I think that allowed me to play 82 games and be able to play big minutes. So I think that's a big factor. Also, credit to Bradshaw for just instilling confidence in me all the time and put me out there in good situations and stuff. So I'm happy with the year. I also know I can get even better and to another level, so I'm really excited about that. But yeah, like I have a ton of confidence and know that I can be really good in this league for a long time. So
Yeah, I think the thing that impressed me so much is, well, like I know about your skating and how balanced you are. You don't seem to ever get kinetically out of shape on the ice where, too much weight over your feet or you get caught on one edge too much.
Yeah.
You're just always so balanced and defending off the rush. And today's game is so big to defend off the rush gaps and the way you angle players and to not bite because of how magical they are. How do you approach this off season? Do you take a little bit? You have some experience now. Do you take a little bit more time before you get back on the ice? Do you start to change things a little bit?
I mean, for me, I want to do what I did last year. I think it was a great routine and schedule that I had. I'll take some time off from the rink and kind of just reset and recharge my body. And then I'll start workouts here pretty soon. I'll be here this summer. So I think Dan and Derek are some of the best out there, and they know my body better than anybody. So it makes sense for me to be here and train here. Yeah. So that's the plan. But I think for me this offseason, I need to, continue to get stronger and take the right strides in that development. And I want to improve my gas tank even more. I, play a lot every night. And I think for me, I want to be able to play at 100% for the full game. So
See, you just led me exactly where I wanted to go next. Because top pairing defensemen have to play a lot of minutes. So you have to be a guy that's efficient with your energy usage. I think you are. I don't see a lot of times where you're leaning on your shin pads on a draw.
Yeah.
And really kind of picking your spots and doing those things. Have you always had really good recovery time?
Yeah, I think my whole career I've been a guy that's played a lot, and I think that's helped me. Obviously, playing in the NHL, when you're playing against top lines, it's difficult. And, this past stretch here, I think I was averaging like 25 plus a night. So there's definitely times throughout the game where I feel like, you got to pace yourself. You can't go balls to the wall every single shift, but I felt like I did a pretty good job managing that. And again, I'm still learning and adjusting to things. So, but yeah, I'm excited for next year for sure.
Is part of that not draining the tank all the way to zero in the game? Because if you get it to zero, like you may never get anything back. It's always having a little reserve in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, right? Like if you go to the gym and you start
max out to exhaustion, you're screwed.
Like you can't start out super hard. You got to kind of work your way up, and I think that's kind of how the game goes for me. When you play big minutes, you got to kind of work your way up. So.
You almost made one of my biggest bold predictions come true because I said that you would play the most average time on ice this season. Sandy had just a bit of a too big of a jump start on you, but in the end, if I take the last 60 games, then my bold prediction comes true.
Yeah. The first few games he had me, but towards the end of the stretch there, it was pretty close.
But you were playing all situations too.
Yeah.
I think that's big. Can't enjoy the summer. I was so impressed with your year.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for everything. I lean on you quite a bit throughout the season. I appreciate it as always. But enjoy the summer, and I can't wait to see your growth just continue to skyrocket. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
Catch up with Cam York. Very chill guy, as you could hear or see. There's a lot of confidence in there. It's a quiet confidence, but Cam York's not the most boisterous or over-the-top personality. But we wondered about Cam York earlier in the season. I remember talking to Flyers head coach John Tortorella about it on Hockey and Hounds about 15 games into the season, because he had mentioned in a press conference, I wasn't sure if Cam York was an NHLer. I think Torts was being a little dramatic there. Of course, he knew that York would be an NHLer, but did he have the dog in him, the belly, that compete? He's so chill and so laid back. I think that's an asset to his game. But he's so chill and so laid back. I had asked Torts, I said, is there a killer in there? And he said, I hope so, because if not, he's going to leave us always wanting more. Because he's got all of these skills. Great balance, great skater, great hockey awareness, all of those things. But if there's not a killer in there, he just would have been a player that left us wanting more. I can't wait to see his development next year. Now, Cam York is going into the final year of a 2-year bridge deal that he signed. He signed that going into last season, and his cap hit last year and this coming season will be $1.6 million. He will be an arbitration-eligible, restricted free agent after that. So, like Travis Konechny, he can extend as early as July 1st once the new league year starts. But Konechny would be a pending unrestricted free agent after next season, where York would be an arbitration-eligible, restricted free agent. So what a hell of a deal. The quality level of play they got for $1.6 million last year. You got to get that in a salary cap league, and they're going to get it again this year. Fantastic season by Cam York. And we'll talk to another left side defenseman coming up on Friday in Nick Seeler, and we'll see how these pairings break down next year. It's my contention that Jamie Drysdale and Travis Sanheim may be a long-term solution to play together. Sanheim playing on the right side, I don't know if that's long-term. We'll see what happens this offseason, because if he's not going to play on the right side in the top pairing, who is? You got to pick that, which leads me to this email. So I got an email from Ian. He emails quite often, and in the subject line it says, Risto and Drysdale. He said, hey, Jason, hope your summer's going well so far. Just wondering if you heard anything about Risto or Drysdale. Will they be healthy enough to start training camp in a few months? Any surgery or procedures that are supposed to be done? Drysdale, I believe, did have a procedure, a lower core procedure, if you will. He was never 100% from the minute he got here, but he did have that cleaned up, and it was not, if you go back, guys that get core surgery, it takes a little time to come back from it because you got to break down scar tissue, whether that's Giroux and Gostisbehere many years ago or even Brian Elliott. I remember talking to Moose about he had a surgery, maybe like a sports hernia or something down in that area, and when he came back, like breaking that scar tissue down is painful. You're limited, but it was not nearly as invasive as that for Drysdale. So yeah, he is 100%, I believe, now, which is great news. And obviously he finished the season playing. Rasmus Ristolainen, I believe that he's healthy. I believe that he'll be a full participant and ready to go for training camp. We might get some more info on that when Danny Briere meets with the media in advance of the NHL draft. We'll get maybe an update on Ristolainen at that time. Ian also went on to say, who do you have winning the Cup? We've got the Cup final now determined. It's Florida versus Edmonton. And he said, I'd be shocked if Florida doesn't win it. I think they take it in 5 games. I just don't see Edmonton being able to handle the physicality of the Panthers game. Although if McDavid and Draisaitl are clicking, it could make things a bit more difficult for Florida. Go Phils, Ian. The Cup final, I think, is a fascinating one. I don't think anybody's winning it in 5. I think it's going 6, maybe 7. And I'm probably leaning towards Florida because of the goaltending matchup. Skinner was great, though. And the X factor here is this, is the Edmonton, we have this perception of this Edmonton group, this team, because for so many years it was true that they just had to outscore their opponents. But in these playoffs, under Chris Knobloch, they have proven that they can absolutely lock down an opponent. I mean, it's unbelievable the way that they have defended at times in the Dallas series, the Canucks series prior to that. The thing that's been most impressive about the Edmonton Oilers to me is the way that they have been able to defend and protect the middle of the ice in the D zone. And if they can continue to do that against Florida, not going to be easy, then they absolutely have a shot. And the best players, legends, are made in moments like this. Connor McDavid's the best hockey player, the most skilled hockey player I've ever seen put skates on. So we'll see where this goes. I think it's going to be very interesting. Will they be the first Cup team or Canadian team to win a Cup since '93? Very well could be. I mean, what was it, '04 when Tampa won it, and that was against Calgary. It was Florida versus Alberta. This is Florida versus Alberta, but it's the Panthers versus the Oilers. Should be a fascinating Stanley Cup final. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Join us Friday. Nick Seeler will be our guest, and maybe Keith Jones or Dan Hilferty as well. So join us then on a brand new Flyers Daily.